Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today we are talking all about lash extensions. I realized the other day when talking to a friend that I have had lash extensions on for about 12 years. Now I've had them off and on. I haven't had them on continuously for 12 years, but I first started getting them done about 12 years ago. And I would say over the last 12 years, I have had lash extensions probably 70% of the time. So I consider myself kind of an expert on lash extensions. And I know that lash extensions is a service that many of you guys have questions about. So I thought I would do an updated Q&A. I have a list of questions that you all sent me. And then I'm also going to give you guys kind of my thoughts on lash extensions. Are they worth it? Do I recommend it? What you need to know? All that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. Now I did do a video years ago on lash extensions. I don't even remember. I should have probably watched it before sitting down and filming this video, but I will link that one down below. It was back in the day when I first started my channel. And I think I had a video of me actually getting it done. So I'll insert that. If it is, I will have that video linked down below for you. But lash extensions are essentially a faux lash that is glued on to your natural lash, and it is glued on with an adhesive that is meant to last several weeks. So it's very different than using a strip lash that you should remove the same day. This is a process that you go into a salon or a lash studio and you have a trained professional actually apply them, and they're actually meant to stay on your lashes until your lashes grow out and shed. Our lashes actually grow and shed. I think it's like every 30 or 45 to 60 days, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. Our lashes are naturally just growing and shedding, and we're getting new lashes. So the idea is when your lashes grow, the lash extension will grow and shed with it, which is why you need to go and get fills when you get lash extensions. So the type of lash extensions that I get are called hybrid, and that means that it's a mix between a classic and a volume style of lash extensions. Now, classic is how lash extensions originally started. This was taking one extension and gluing it to one individual natural lash hair. But a few years into the process of lash extensions, they evolved, and then they started doing volume lashes, which is basically a cluster of false lashes that is glued to one individual natural lash. So volume lashes, you might guess, is going to give you more volume, give you more dramatic results, more fullness. It's going to have a lot more volume in the extension look versus just, individual long lashes. So I have a hybrid, meaning that some of mine are classic, some of them are volume. I like a hybrid because for me personally, if I do all volume, it can look really, really heavy. And I personally feel like on my eye shape, there's a fine line of fullness and just the right amount of glam, and then just being way too heavy. And I've definitely had my lashes applied way too heavy. Sometimes I watch old videos and I'm like, whoa. And I try to stay clear of that. So that's why I like to do hybrid. And I'll go into my lash stylist and I'll say, today, let's do more classic, or let's do more volume, depending on how my lashes are. So let's just go ahead and go through the questions, and then whatever we don't cover, I will be sure to address at the end of the video. So the first question we have is, how long do they generally last? So I guess I should talk a little bit about the process. So basically, you make an appointment to get your first set put on. They call it a full set. And as far as price, it's going to range anywhere from, I think on the low end, $100, on the high end, $300. The place that I go charges $150, I believe, somewhere around that, $150 or $200 for your first set, depending on if it's classic or volume. Volume is going to cost you more. And you go in, it's about an hour and a half or to 2-hour appointment. You lay there, you have your eyes closed, and they are working on you for an hour and a half or so. It's a very long appointment. And then the lashes will stay on for many weeks. If you never went to get a fill on them, I would say you would have the lash extensions on for probably 4 weeks or so, if not more. Now, granted, after about 3 weeks, they're not going to look great because you're going to have areas that have grown out and fallen out. So even though you do have some lash extensions still on at 3 weeks, they're not going to look it's not going to look good. You're going to have areas that are missing in patches. That's why it's recommended that when you get a full set put on, you go every 2 to 3 weeks to get them filled. And that just means that they're basically filling in the areas that have grown out and fallen out. So it's not that you get a whole new set every 2 weeks. You just go and get those areas filled. So your refill appointment is about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on where you go. I go for an hour every 2 weeks. What is the cost of lash extensions? So again, this is going to vary depending on where you go, where you live. I believe my full set was around $150, maybe $200, and then my fill appointments are $75 every time. Depending if it's more volume, then it's a little bit higher. If it's classic, then it's a little bit lower, plus tip. It ends up being a pretty costly, you know, beauty routine to keep up with, definitely in terms of cost and your time. It is a high maintenance service to have. So is it worth the money and maintenance? Again, I think that is just a, you know, a question that you would have to decide and answer for yourself. As far as maintenance, it is a lot of maintenance because again, you have to take an hour every 2 weeks to go to this appointment. You consider drive time and all of that. It takes, you know, a good 2 hours out of my day every 2 weeks. The cost is something to consider. But then on the other side of that, you could look at it as being less maintenance because you don't really need to wear a lot of eye makeup. You wake up with lashes like this, so you might, I know some people that don't even put eye makeup on at all. They don't put eyeshadow, they don't put eyeliner. You definitely don't need to use mascara. So in that aspect, it can actually be less maintenance from the day-to-day beauty routine, but it is a high maintenance in terms of setting aside the time and the money every 2 weeks to go and get this service done. So the next question is, do they make your natural lashes fall out over time? And it's hard to answer that. I don't know if they make your natural lashes fall out. However, in my experience, in the 12 years that I have been getting them done, and I've gone to, you know, a handful of different people, and every person that I've gone to and stuck with has been really good. Every person I go to, I would recommend as someone to go to for this service. But yet, when I remove them, my natural lashes are in a very, very poor, damaged state. Period. So it's not the fault of the lash stylist. It's nothing that they did wrong. I kind of equate it to like going and getting fake nails for years, or even months, going to get fake nails for, you know, a month, 2 months, 3 months, even gel. If you decide to remove that and have go with your natural nails are weak, they're thin, they break, they're not as strong as they were before you put those fake nails on. But over time, your natural nails will regain their strength, and you know, after a few weeks, maybe a month or so, you can get your natural nails back to their original healthy state before you did the fake nails. Lashes are the same thing. Every single time I have removed my lash extensions over the 12 years that I have had them, every single time, I'm horrified. I'm horrified because my natural lashes are pretty much gone. And I've had different lash stylists tell me, oh no, that's how they are normally. It's just you get used to the length, and then when you remove them, they look shorter. It's just because you're not used to it. I'm like, no, trust me, it is not the case. You remove them, and in my case, every time my natural lashes have been like tiny, 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 tiny short. If I put mascara, they just look like, I mean, it's tragic actually. And I find myself wearing lash strips for the first couple of weeks just because they're so bad. Now, what I do to prep for that is if I know I'm going to take my lash extensions off in a couple of weeks, I will start using lash serum nightly before I remove them. That way, when they are removed, at least I have a little bit of a head start on that. Lash growth serum is a must. It is a must when you remove your lashes. And after about 4 to 6 weeks, my natural lashes always come back, you know, long and thick and just like they were before. So it's not like permanently damages your lashes, but it definitely does for those first 4 to 6 weeks. Once you're removing them, you will be very sad. So it's something that I don't recommend to people. Some people will say, oh, I have this event or I have a vacation or I'm getting married, should I do lash extensions? And my answer to them is, if that is the only reason you're doing it and you don't intend to keep up with it, don't do it. It is not worth it. Put on a lash strip, call it a day, and keep your natural lashes healthy and in good shape. Because if you're just going to do this for one event and then 2 or 3 weeks later they're gone, you're not going to be happy. You're going to wish you didn't do it. The next question is there a way to protect your natural lashes when getting lash extensions? I think first and foremost, definitely find a reputable lash stylist. Find someone that has experience. Find someone that you know has done a good job on friends of yours. Get a referral or a recommendation. Read reviews. Lash stylists are not all the same. And I am going to speak from personal experience because years ago, I thought I could be a lash stylist. I had been a makeup artist and I knew the trend was coming with lash extensions, and I thought that it would be a great, you know, supplemental business to my makeup artistry business. So I went and got certified online. I got certified online and I started doing lashes, and I was terrible. It is not an easy thing to do, you guys. It is not easy. So there are good lash stylists and there are bad lash stylists. So find someone good. If you live in Austin, I will leave the place that I go to. I have had a great experience there. So that's first and foremost. And then also using a lash serum. You can use it while you have lash extensions. There's two sides to that. Using a lash serum while you have lash extensions will keep your natural lashes growing and keep them healthy. However, you might find that you shed your lash extensions a little quicker because you are, causing and stimulating the growth pattern of your lash hairs. So you might find that you're needing fills a little more frequently. Just something to consider, but definitely when you plan to take them off, I would start the lash serum a few weeks before you plan to remove them. So how do you clean your lash extensions? This is a great question, and this is probably the part that I struggle with the most with lash extensions. They are difficult to keep clean. I purchased little lint-free, they actually look like lip gloss wands. Like they look like the wand of a lip gloss, like a disposable. Like if you can imagine this cut off without any product on it, this is what they look like. I get them from Amazon, and I will dip this into an oil-free micellar water, and I will use that to clean off eyeliner and clean my lashes. I think they are impossible to like fully clean, and that is the struggle for me, is especially if you wear a lot of makeup, if you work out a lot, if you sweat a lot, you're going to get debris in your extensions, and it's going to be hard to really keep clean. You can use little wands like that. You can also use like a mascara wand and dip it into micellar water and comb through it. Those are the best ways that I have found. You want to avoid using Q-tips or cotton swabs or anything with lint that's going to get caught in your eyelash extensions. You want to avoid products that have oil in it because the oil will break up the adhesive of the glue. So you'll find that you'll just, cause the lash extensions to come off of your lashes quicker. So you really have to be careful with the products that you use and how you care for them. But truthfully, it is very difficult to fully clean them like you would if you did not have lash extensions. Like, you know what I mean? It's really difficult to clean the eye area with lash extensions. So if you don't wear a lot of eye makeup, I think they're great. I think if you wear a lot of eye makeup like me, there does become a point, and I'm kind of at that point now. I'm considering removing them soon. There comes a point where I'm like, oh, I just want to scrub my eyes. I just want to scrub my eyes, because you can't do that. So something to consider. Why is it important to clean your lash extensions? Well, I think for a lot of reasons. Our eyes are very sensitive, and I do notice that my eyes are a little more sensitive when I wear lash extensions. But there's two sides to that too, because when I do remove them and I wear mascaras, sometimes I find my eyes are very sensitive to mascaras. But you'll find that if the more makeup that builds up in your lashes, you might notice your eyes are a little more irritated. Definitely more prone to eye infections if your lashes are dirty. It is very important to keep your lashes as clean as possible for, just to avoid, infections, bacterial growth, things like that around the eye area. I have seen people get pretty gnarly infections from lash extensions. I never have had an infection from dirty eyelash extensions. I have had a reaction from the glue, and it was very random because I had been getting my lashes done with this glue for a year and a half, and then all of a sudden one time I had a reaction to it. And my reaction was pretty mild. I just had really red eyes and they stung for about 2 or 3 days. But I have seen people that have had reactions where the glue actually caused them to have like puffiness and swollenness around the eye, and it looked terrible, and they had to remove them all. That has never happened to me, but I did have an unexplainable reaction to the glue even after I'd been using it. So that was very strange and odd, but yes, you can have a reaction to the glue. Okay, the next question is it hard to wash your face? How do you keep them dry in the shower? Yes, washing your face is more difficult. I basically use face wash around my face, on my forehead. Now, they will recommend that you not do what I am about to tell you, but this is kind of what I do. I will take my makeup remover and I will put it onto my lid, and then I will just take my fingers under water and kind of wipe them off. But I don't splash water all over my face. Like I don't splash water. I don't put my face under the shower directly like that. I basically just take my hands and put water this way, and then I'll take my hand, put it this way. They do get wet. I think it's impossible to keep them completely dry, but I don't like splash water on my face when I have them. them. So it definitely is more challenging. And then you have to take more time, again, if you wear eyeliner, to do little things like that to get it off. You will not be able to wash your face the same way without having lash extensions. You just can't really get in there the same, but it also, you kind of get used to it too. It's really not that much of a burden at all. You know, I have had, I think the longest like stint that I had lashes was probably several years. I probably went several years when I first started getting them done without even taking them off ever. And over the last few years, you guys have probably seen me have them on for 6 or 8 months, and then I take them off for, you know, 3, 4, 5 months, and then I put them back on for another 6 or 8 months, I take them off. And that's kind of been my pattern over the last couple of years with them. I just get to a point, and I'm kind of at the point now, like I said, where I think I want to take them off. But not to say that I won't get them back on though. I'm not committing to that. Never say never. Okay, the next question is, can you use mascara on your lash extensions? If so, how do you wash them off? You don't really need to, and you really shouldn't. I wouldn't recommend using mascara on your lash extensions because, again, it's very, very difficult to clean that off. And the only way to really clean that off is likely going to result in you just making a lot of your lash extensions fall out. I don't wear mascara on them. I don't need to, but I go every 2 weeks for a refill. If I stretch that refill to 3 to 4 weeks, then I would probably be like wanting to put some mascara on to get me through. But if you go for regular fills, you really shouldn't need mascara. And if you find yourself needing mascara all the time, then you should probably find another lash stylist. It means that they're not getting you full, or the glue that they're using is not lasting. So it could be, you know, it could be on them, but it could also be on you using the wrong products and oil products to remove your makeup, which will cause them to fall out more. But the short answer is you really shouldn't put mascara on it. And if you do, it will be difficult to clean out, and it will likely result in you making your lash extensions fall out. What type of lashes do you use? Synthetic. Yes. So I do synthetic, and I get, a mix between hybrid, volume, and classic. For me, I find volume can get really heavy too quickly, and classic is not full enough. So I like that sweet spot in the middle, and I do go every single 2 weeks. I have an appointment every 2 weeks to get them done. Okay, they seem delicate. How do you sleep in them? That's a good question. I just sleep on my back or on my side. I really don't think too much about them. If you are someone that sleeps on your tummy, then yes, that would probably be an issue. But I don't really think about them when I sleep. They are delicate in some sense, but in other senses, I just don't. They're kind of there, and I don't really even think about them. The only time I really think about them is when I find my eyes are more sensitive to them, or you know, I'm just like wanting to wash my face. But other than that, they don't really interfere with my day-to-day routine. True or false? Can you have more than one extension attached to a natural lash? That is true. That's a volume lash, so you can get a cluster. I don't even know how many they're doing in a volume cluster these days, but I know you can get, you know, multiple lashes that's in one little cluster that's glued to one lash. Okay, the next question is, how do they hold up with everyday exercise and sweat? They hold up great. Yeah, they hold up great. I don't have issues with them falling out from sweating or exercising. Again, the only thing is that I'm sure that sweat and that dirt build up in them, and you know, kind of stays over time. Going in every 2 weeks for a fill is another great opportunity for you to have them clean. So, you know, I go in and they take some time kind of removing ones that are growing out, but they also take time kind of cleaning through them. So going every 2 weeks, you're not only getting new ones put on, but you're actually getting the ones that are still there kind of cleaned and maintained. So that's also another benefit for going every 2 weeks. True or false? Can you use oil-based products on them? So I don't know that this is a true or false answer. I think generally speaking, true, false. Generally speaking, you are not supposed to use oil products on them. However, I was going to a lash stylist at one point that said the particular glue that she was using, it was actually good to use oil products with it because it did something to like condition the lash or glue. I can't recall exactly what she said, but she said using oil products was okay with that particular type of glue. But that was the only one person that I've ever been told that from. Everyone else that I went to said not to use oil products. So generally speaking, I would avoid oil products if you can. I still use it. You know, I've been using the Derma Blend cleansing oil, and I love a cleansing oil. I still use it, but you know, I mean, what's going to happen, what you're risking is that oil getting onto your extension and breaking up the adhesive and then falling out. Which I'm okay with because again, I go every 2 weeks. So anything that falls out, I know I'm gonna get filled soon. So I still use an oil, but technically you're not supposed to. For sensitive eyes, this is a really great question. I would probably say no. I'd say if you have very sensitive eyes, I would not do this to your eyes. That's just my gut reaction in response to that question. I think there probably are glues that you can use that are more catered towards sensitive eyes, but you know, in my experience, you're using an adhesive on your eyelashes to attach a synthetic extension that will sit there for weeks, and people with sensitive eyes, I just don't think that that's probably a good idea. Okay, have you ever done the lift and tint? I have done that and I loved that. So a lift and tint is basically on your natural lashes, so it's not on extensions, but you go in, it's kind of like an eyelash perm. They had these little tiny rollers that she put on, my eyes were closed, she put on my lash and then used some type of chemical. I think it was a chemical, I might be wrong, but she did something to get my natural lashes to curl around it, and then she dyed them. And I loved that. That looked great. It actually took so if your natural lashes grow straight or grow down, it can be frustrating because you might have really long lashes, but because they grow in that direction, they don't appear long. Well, doing a lash or a lift and a tint can really like maximize the length of your lashes and have them curl up. And you'd be surprised because she kept telling me, your lashes are actually really, you know, pretty, because I always thought my lashes were terrible, my natural, and she would always tell me, no, they're actually really good. And it wasn't until after I did a tint and a lift that I was like, oh my gosh, they are, but they always grow straight that I never really would see that. So I have done that. Okay, and the last question, is it common to suddenly start getting a reaction after having them on for some time? Have you had an allergic reaction to the glue? So I already addressed this. I don't know how common it is, but I know that it does happen, yes, because it happened to me. I had been using the glue for a year or longer, and then all of a sudden, some random day, I had a reaction. And I don't know, maybe it was, and again, this is just me talking out loud without thinking and filtering this comment, which I probably should because I am not a doctor, you know, I am no medical expert, but I wonder if I had been taking a medication or a supplement or something that might have interacted. I don't know. Guess if you have an answer to that, maybe not share. I kind of discourage like giving medical advice online because we should be getting medical advice from our doctors, right? But yes, my answer to that question is I have had an allergic reaction to the glue randomly, and then I came back and I didn't have that reaction again. So that wraps up the Q&A part of this video. Overall, my experience with lash extensions is pretty good. I continue to get them. I have them on now. I think I'm going to be removing them soon at some point, but that's not to say that I won't get them down in the future. But I do think that there is some key information that I just covered for you to know before you get them, because they are a lot of upkeep. They're not only costly, but it takes a lot of time to maintain them. And there are some things you should know about, you know, how your eyes might react to them or how to keep them clean. It's not just a service that I would just jump into without doing the research and taking the time to find the right person, the right place, and really just know what you're getting into. So if you have lash extensions, let me know if you agree or disagree with anything that I said. Let us know in the comment section below. If there are any questions that you have that I did not answer or address, let me know down below. I hope you guys found this video helpful. And again, I will link the original lash extension video that I did. I'm pretty sure I have video footage of me getting the extensions put on, so you can kind of see that process. It's from years ago, but still, I think it'll help. I'll leave it linked down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.